Did anyone ever tell you that you should read books to change your life? There are books that entertain, books that inform, books that enthrall, books that speak to the brain, the mind, the intellect, and the emotions. Books are like mentors. They can guide, inspire, and motivate us to try new things. So in this video, we're going to tell you 10 books that change your life. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick till the end. Before starting the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Number 10. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Tom had unwittingly uncovered a profound rule of human behavior, namely that all it takes to make a man or a boy want something is to make it impossible to obtain. But Tom, I'm not everyone. They declared they'd rather be outlaws for a year in Sherwood Forest than President of the United States for the rest of their lives. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is a popular children's novel. Tom said to himself that it was not such a hollow world after all. He had discovered a great law of human action without knowing it, namely, that in order to make a man or a boy covet a thing, it's only necessary to make the thing difficult to attain. Number 9. The Buddha Said, Meeting the Challenges of Life's Difficulties by Osho. You'll miss out on this incredible opportunity to be alive if you cannot let life flow through you. Then you'll be anxious, then you'll be trapped in your thoughts, and unhappiness will follow. The Sutra of 42 chapters is Osho's interpretation of a text taken from Buddha's quotes and collected by a Chinese monarch in the 1st century CE. The book, which is divided into 22 chapters and filled with amusing anecdotes, discusses why humans are always worried. The fundamental point to grasp is that man desires happiness, which is why he's unhappy. You'll be more unhappy the more you desire to be happy. You can't stop. All you can do is comprehend. The halting of it is in the very knowledge. Remember that no one can see seeking, and truth only emerges when the desire fades. Number 8. Stumbling on Happiness by Daniel Gilbert. One of the most important science books that can change your life. Because we don't recall our history properly, we don't know if we're happy or not, or how we truly felt at a certain time. We have no idea that will bring us happiness in the future. Our emotions and desires shift throughout the time. What we know is simply the here and now, which doesn't need to be directed to make our future joyful because we have no idea what will happen at that time. We can also make erroneous predictions about how we feel right now. Perceptions are portraits, not pictures, and their shape shows the artist's hand as much as it reflects the represented objects. Happiness is a subjective feeling according to the text. Therefore, that individual and only that person is the ideal person to talk to about our happiness, and that we can foresee our future is because we can't remember our parts well enough. People want to be happy, and everything else they want is usually just a means to that end. Even when individuals choose to forego enjoyment in the time, such as by dieting, when they could be eating or working late, when they could be sleeping, it's typically to increase their wealth. Number 7. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Habits are strong, but they're also sensitive. They can occur without our knowledge or be purposefully created. They frequently arise without our knowledge, but they may be altered by tinkering with their components. As a result, they have considerably greater impact on our lives than we know. In fact, they're so powerful that they lead our brains to cling to them at the expense of everything else, even common sense. Habits are formed through cravings, and figuring out how to elicit a need makes it easier to form a new habit. Typically, people who exercise start eating better and becoming more productive at work. They smoke less and show more patience with colleagues and family. They use their credit cards less frequently and say they feel less stressed. Exercise is a keystone habit that triggers widespread change. Number 6. The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. The Art of Learning explains the science of becoming a top performer based on Josh Waitzkin's personal rise to the top of the chess and Tai Chi world. By showing you the right mindset, proper ways to practice, and how to build the habits of a professional, the reality of the issue is that if we don't give our best in every task, we won't learn anything. We learn by pushing ourselves to our limits and discovering what truly lies at the limit of our abilities. We must be able to do something slowly before we can hope to execute well at a fast pace. Number 5. Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. Yuval has not only given a tale of the evolution of the world in Homo sapiens, but he has also revealed our behavior on the planet in Sapiens. Sapiens will tell you all about our common ancestor with chimps, how our brain and body evolved, the power of stories in uniting sapiens, how we wiped out all of their animals, why we eat wheat, the agricultural and industrial revolutions, capitalism in its purest form, humanity's biggest frauds, and the extinction of all of their animals. Culture tends to argue that it forbids only that which is unnatural, but from a biological perspective, nothing is unnatural. Whatever is possible is by definition also natural. A truly unnatural behavior, one that goes against the laws of nature, simply cannot exist, so it would need no prohibition. Number 4. The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This book is a hard one to summarize because it's full of pretty lines and deep thoughts that lose their zing in praises. In the narrative, the narrator meets a young prince in the desert who claims to have come from a star. According to the prince, adults are perplexed by life and are continually rooting for things with repercussions. No one was playing for pleasure or living simply. Instead, everyone was laboring toward an unreasonable goal in the hopes of happiness or success. Where are the people? Resumed the little prince at last. It's a little lonely in the desert. It's lonely when you're among people too, said the snake. Number 3. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. Those of us who grew up in concentration camps recall guys walking through the huts, consoling others and giving up their last piece of bread. They may have been a few, but they demonstrate that a man may be stripped of everything, save one thing, the last of human freedoms, the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to select one's path. So life took on a new meaning for me when I picked up Man's Search for Meaning, a fascinating odyssey of an Auschwitz concentration camp survivor, the author said. Every line in the book contributes to the concept that a human's purpose is to act on what is in front of her and do what is necessary at the time. Even the smallest of ambitions may keep us going in the darkest of times. What man truly requires is trying and battling for a worthy purpose. If really chosen activity, rather than a tension-free condition, he needs the call of a potential meaning waiting to be fulfilled by him, not the release of tension at any cost. This is one of those mind-opening novels that makes you realize how miraculous it is we are here, breathing and living, and that we should simply keep going. Number 2. Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. We all want to be happy, yet our lives are different yet the same. Human greatness is based on a character and goodness, not riches or power. People are just people, and while we all have flaws and weaknesses, we are all born with a fundamental goodness. Those who have faith and courage will never perish in misery. Anne Frank's diary, written while she was a 13-year-old hiding in German-occupied Amsterdam and subsequently transported to the Auschwitz death camp where she died, is a book of hope and one of the finest books to read about life. Number 1. My Boyhood Days by Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was such a poet whose passion was to depict human emotions and sentiment as such. He was a poet who knew the pulse of humankind. He made us ever aware of life's unending saga. A few years before his death, Rabindranath Tagore published The Boyhood Days, a book about his boyhood and growing up as a kid in Kolkata. My Boyhood Days is Tagore's second memoir of his childhood days, written when he was nearing 80. He mentions his early days as being under servocracy, his word for the reign of servants. Tagore discusses his journey through Kolkata, how lonely he felt in his large home surrounded by only his buddies, his brothers' wives, how absurd he found the closed, men-driven caravans for women, his aversion to formal education, a melancholy he felt for the world, and what he thought could change in the book. Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. This was all for today. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay safe, and we'll be back soon with another video.